All right, class, you know how this goes. Numbers aren't everything, but they do tell a story. All right, Carter 6 projected to sell about 108K units in the first week. It's going to secure a number 2 debut on the Billboard 200 charts. One that I do want to note, I remember Wayne's quote unquote prime. His highest first week sales was the Carter 3, about 1 million copies, which is astronomical numbers. Do I think that what's 100,000 versus 1 million, that's about a 10%, right? Do I think that Lil Wayne now only has 10% of the talent? No, I don't think that's the story per se. I think the story is his talent has declined a little bit. We talked about production and sequencing on the album. That's that. We talk about not releasing a single before the project drops. There was a rollout, so that helps. And then just quite frankly, in the streaming era, the way numbers and album sales are calculated, I should say units are calculated, are much different. And I saw another stat here, thankfully, to one of my favorite pages on Elon's app. And it's a page called Hip Hop by the Numbers. It's quite literally one of my favorite pages because, again, like I tell y'all, numbers aren't the only thing. They aren't everything, but they do tell a story. So being able to kind of pinpoint numbers about the game, they don't only do sales. Hip Hop by the Numbers. Hip hop numbers doesn't only do sales. They do things like tracking how many times a rapper uses a certain word on a page. So one of my favorite pages to look at. So rappers 25 years into their careers, and we see where Lil Wayne takes his place amongst other icons. And now you put it in perspective that 100K in the first week is actually pretty impressive. We see Dr. Dre getting the number 2 album on the Billboard 200s the week he released Compton, and I'm trying to figure out what got number 1 that week. I think it might have been, I'm not gonna guess. Y'all can figure it out. We got Eminem, selling 281K just recently. A Tribe Called Quest, 135K, getting the number 1 album. You got Nas 3 times on this list. Later part of Nas' career, not really a commercial giant, in my opinion. You got Busta and LL Cool J. So that's another story to be told here, is that Lil Wayne does pretty good for rappers 25 plus years into their careers. Now, Wayne was a lot younger when he started in a lot of these guys. So, when you start comparing where he is now versus where an LL Cool J might be, because LL Cool J started a lot later than Wayne, yeah, you can do the math. So that's what we have. I'm cool with Wayne's numbers here. They don't really say that he needs to hang it up or anything like that, but they do say if you compare it to his prime, you compare him to where he was at, there's a slight little drop off, right? So that's what the numbers tell you, but we all could hear with our ears, right? We all knew what we were hearing. But I still say, Wayne, maybe not another Carter project, but in about a year or two, lock in with some different producers, get some concepts in place. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. You know what I'm saying? I want to see everybody move like Nas in the later part of their career.